didn't want that. Some of them did want that. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out for future things. Um, yeah, some people don't want they don't want to like be shown sneezing and coughing and running to the bathroom. You know.
Well, they have their options to black out and just do video and still
Yeah,
be able to see you,
and they
audio.
cough and they spit and Jews. I mean, yeah, a lot of
It's what we
expression.
do.
We're very we're very expressive people. They'll get up, they'll walk around, they'll make faces. Yeah.
But then we get to know each other. Isn't it? It's mishpacha, right?
Yeah, good old mishpacha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, well, it's 7 o'clock. You want to start? Who else is here? No, all. That's it for now. It's okay.
Oh, we have one more admitting.
Uh-huh.
Two more.
I have a rabbi question that came to me before this class because of another contemporary rabbi in this generation. Sort of has been I've been following him for like 15, 20 years. His drash was about the jinns, and also it was about the jinns and where did I write that question down? My question was, psychedelics. Question was, he was against doing the drugs because when you do the drugs, that might create idolatry and sins. And that was his side of the story. I'm curious, as you being a contemporary rabbi in these times, well, you are in certain aspects. What are your thoughts on that?
On the psychedelic, ich darf das nicht. Psychedelic, you take a little, Manischewitz, and then you're psychedelic, I don't know, with your psychedelic, not so much. I'm really not into the psychedelics at all. I mean, I don't think Moses was vaping when he was at the burning bush. I mean, I have nothing against it. I just personally, I like to keep my mind clear so that I could have my confusion in a very clear way. You really want to know clearly that you don't know. So I don't know if it leads to idolatry. I don't know if I would go that far. I mean, anything could lead to idolatry. Even studying the Torah could lead to idolatry. Like my colleague, the late Rabbi David Wolf Blank, when he was a Lubavitcher, he went all the way to Oregon to talk a guru out of his terrible idolatry in Buddhism and come back to his Judaism. And the Jewish turned guru guy said, you think I'm doing idolatry? He reached for the statue of the Buddha that was on his desk. He opened the window and he threw it out the window. And then he said to Rabbi Blank, let me see you do that with the Chumash you're holding. See, who's talking idolatry here. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it depends what, see, any kind of mind altering, whether it's through meditation or through psychedelics, or through spending the whole night studying Talmud, any kind of mind alteration stuff is channeled through the lenses that we have in our personal life. So a person's personal issues at the time, or what's going through their mind, or what they're dealing with, becomes in that moment the itpaklaria, as the Zohar puts it, the lenses that filter whatever it is that they're going to try to do, psychedelic or not. So it, as a blanket thing, I think people should be careful when using these things to make sure they are in a good place to begin with, because otherwise the experience will be interpreted by the body and by the mind depending on and contingent on what's going on in the person's life at the time. So you can get distortions, just like a prophet. In prophecy too, you chant and drum your way. That Maimonides says the prophets would chant and drum themselves into ecstasy. But even in Nevi'ut, even in prophecy, a person can receive what really was not given to in the way that they received it. See? So when Yeshayahu says, I'm sitting among a people of filthy lips. Filthy lips. So the angel came with a nice hot plate of hot burning coals and put it to his lips and says, wait a minute, that's not what God told you. That's not what God told you. That's how you got it, because you're in a bad mood. So when a prophet is in a bad mood, a nasty mood, he'll get the prophecy in a distorted way as well. If my TV is full of gray and I can't get good reception, I'm not going to call CBS and complain. Excuse me, but your show is not turning on really clear on my TV, because it has to do with my reception, not what is being transmitted. So when one takes the plant and goes into a mind-altering thing, and what comes to them, the clarity of what comes to them will be determined by what is in the person's mind and heart in that moment, whether that's clear or not. And that's why some people come away from these experiences feeling even worse than they did before, and others feel enlightened and illuminated. But it's something that needs to be, taken seriously, and people need to make sure they're in a good place before they do it. That is my opinion, my humble contemporary rabbi opinion.
Gershon, but some people say, like, when people are in bad places, that's why they're taking it, in order to, work out certain things. Do you feel like that's not a good approach to
It depends. You can take regular psychiatric medicine when you're not feeling good, and it could still be backfire on you too. It really depends. Everything has to be measured in a good way. It has to be supervised and monitored in a good way. Just because I'm feeling depressed and I take a medicine for depression does not mean that medicine is going to heal my depression, because maybe my depression is not chemical, and so it's going to make it worse. So first we have to understand what the root of the malady is before we apply a one-size-fits-all plant known as Arthawaskow.
Now, the last question I just want to ask you on this is that some people say, they see different, entities or demons or things like that. So
yeah, why do you want to do it?
What's that?
Yeah, why do you want to go through that for?
Right. Does that mean that we're traveling to different realms in that space, and therefore is that also problematic because we don't understand those realms?
Well, you see, the power of plant in general is that it brings you out of the realm you're in, because that's what plant does. How does the plant arrive? Plant arrives by beginning its life in a different realm than the surface, than what is visible to us. And then it emerges into the realm of visibility and differentiation. And so when you take some of those plants that have those powers, it takes you into it. It opens up portals. There are many portals, in the world. Yeah, the Zohar talks about it, and even in the Mishnah, in the Tractate of Shekalim, talks about the 13 portals, the 13 sha'arim, 13 portals. So some of them open up to places that are good, that are clear, and that are helpful. And some places you go into where things are a little murky into this, where things are more confounding than clarifying. So you have to learn about these portals. Because when you take these plants, for example, and these psychedelics, the plant is a language. You have to know how to speak it. Otherwise, the plant will determine what it is that's being said to you and what language will be spoken between you and the other realms. See? So you can't just walk in and do brain surgery, like in the Woody Allen movie. Yeah, that one. You know that one. Where he's about to go off to South America, bananas, And his parents are doing surgery, and he comes to tell them he's going to South America, and they say, "No, you make a good surgeon. Here's a scalpel. Try this, Yeah, finish my operation for me." Yeah, it's not that simple. We like to make it simple because we live in an era of instant coffee, microwave. We get pissed off if the computer doesn't boot in less than 3 seconds. In ancient times, you say you're going to visit your aunt, that means you took a month to travel. It was a whole different thing. People were more in tune with the process of time and the process of portals, because they're both very much interrelated. Time, space, and matter. Sefer, Sipor, Sipur. They're all spelled the same, but they each one means something different. There is space, the realm in which we live and know, the knowable realm. And there is Sipor, the telling, the counting, the time. So Sefer means that if you plant a tomato seed, a tomato will grow. Sipor means not right away. It'll take a couple of months. And then there's Sipur, the story. That's you and me, in the unfolding of our lives through the interaction and interplay of the two, of space and time. That's why when you go into these journeys, psychedelic or not, you have a lack of time, no concept of time. Just like when you dream, right? You're dreaming that you're doing things that ordinarily are taking, hours and hours, maybe days, and you wake up and it's only been 10 minutes. Because the time in that portal of dream is very different than in this realm. Here is very, very slow. And there it's very, very fast, short, sweet, to the point. Mochin de Katnut and Mochin de Gadlut. Big mind and the little mind. So, if you don't mind, that's my 2 cents worth. There's so much magic in just what is. Why do we have to go looking for the magic in other ways? We can barely figure this one out. I'm going to go into other realms. I have enough problems with this one. But we're in such a hurry. We want everything. We want to go to Mars. We want to explore Pluto. We wanted to go to the moon. We haven't even figured out this world yet. I'm in life to Mars. We're running to Mars with rovers and explorers. Meanwhile, this world's falling apart. But we're too busy. We have to go over there. This reality is not enough for you. You have to take psychedelics to go someplace else. Ashanda nachok. Chas v'sholem. It's enough here, this world. Ay, 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 ay. So, you want to talk about plants or what? 7:15, for God's sake. No, not yet.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
that's what you're here for. Okay. What can I tell you about plants? I don't know nothing about it. You know, they're things. They're green, some are yellow. I don't know. But you know what's something very interesting about plants? I tell you. The first human being, you and I, and Shayna, the only human beings on the planet Zoom right now. The first human rose up out of the earth like a living plant. It was one creature, like some kind of, it was a strange one because like other creatures that worm their way out of the earth and are both female and male combined, what we today call hermaphroditic, right? So like plants, like most plants are hermaphroditic. And that's how we came out of the earth, the Torah tells us. Like the ancient rabbis tell us, do partzufa, right? It's Aramaic for two-faced. We came out as male and female sharing a single body. You might say it was a perfect relationship. You know, if anything went wrong, it was both their faults equally, right? And why were they called Adam? Right? It says Vayikra et Shemom Odom, and God called their name Odom because they were fashioned from Adamah, from the clay, from the earth. And this was rubbed in by the Creator, who reminded the first human later that they're going to have to live the rest of their lives on takeouts and frozen dinners. Ad shuvcha el ha'adamah, until you return to the Adamah. Ki mimenu lokachta, because it is from her that you were taken. Ki afar ata ve'elafat tashuv, because you are earth itself. Your soil. And back to the soil you shall come back, return. Now, when you study these ancient teachings, right, we discover what? We discover that Rosh Hashanah, for example, which is our new year, celebrates the birth of humanity as we know it. So it's our birthday, right? All of us. But we're also told that it is the birthday, Rosh Hashanah is, of the sprouting beings, the tzomeach, the plants, right? In the very beginning of Rosh Hashanah, the tractate of Rosh Hashanah, 2a, 2 alpha, very beginning, it says Rosh Hashanah is the birth of humanity and the birth of plants. Both were created and are commemorated by Rosh Hashanah. I know they won't tell you this in the shul. You know, hi, today we're celebrating the birth of Yom Harat Olam and also the birth of plants. Because we live in a concrete world. So it's our birthday, it's the birthday of the plants. So that explains also why Rosh Hashanah falls during the harvest. Because we and plants are more than, we're more related than we realize. And birthday, I mean, think of the concept of birthday. Birthday is a creation of something new from scratch. No, it's more a seeding, a planting of future potential, future renewal of what was, of what has been. So first human also, was not necessarily an original, our tradition teaches. The tradition they didn't teach you in yeshiva. So the tradition they don't tell you in Hebrew school or in the yeshiva is that the first human, Adam and Chava, were not necessarily originals. but they were the first seeding of yet another first out of many earlier firsts. And so the Kabbalah, right, tells us that prior to Adam the man and Adam the woman, because both were called Adam, it says in the Torah, there indeed did exist other forms of human, only not the form in which we manifest as humans in this particular current cycle. So like plants, we too arose out of the earth from what had been seeded earlier in earlier cycles, and our new year is a cyclical festival of rituals assigned in our tradition, not only for us humans, but also for plants. We have a series of other New Year as well, for animals, for example, but today we're talking plants. So what happened with the earlier human experiment, right? What happened with the earlier human? Well, as the story goes, the humans before us did not have a relationship with the land. They didn't seed, they didn't plant. Nothing grew. The earth was untended, uncared for, ignored. And so the earth lacked passion, and no mist arose from her to arouse the sky, to bring down the rain, to impregnate her, right? Just like it says in the Torah in Perek Beis, right? The second chapter of Bereshit, was steht dort? V'chol siach hasoda terem yiyeh ba'aretz, and all of the trees of the field before they were on the earth. Before they were on the earth? I thought they were here already. V'chol esev hasoda, and all the grasses of the field, terem yitzmach, before they emerged and sprouted. Elohim tir Adonai Elohim al haaretz, because Adonai Elohim had not yet caused it to rain upon the earth. The Adam ayin, and there was no person, no human, la'avod et adamah, to tend to the earth. So Creator started a whole new cycle of creation, of Genesis, and kindled the passion of the earth, so that Eid ya'aleh min haaretz, it says next, and a mist arose from this earth that had not been tended, and roused the sky, which then responded, V'hishka et pelei adamah, and watered the earth, satiated the thirst of the land. And it was then that we were shaped. We humans were shaped. We new humans were shaped in the soft, wet clay, forged by the orgasmic response of the earth to the sky, the Zohar puts it. And it was then that we rose from the mud and received the breath of life from God and became a living soul. Vayitzer Adonai Elohim et ha'adam, and Elohim formed the human. This is the new cycle of human. Afar min ha'adamah, earth from out of the clay. Vayipach biatav, and blew into its nostrils the breath of life, and we became an embodiment of consciousness, born out of the kiss of heaven and earth, who, like the plants, would be firmly rooted in the earth while reaching for the heavens, for the beyond. Rooted in the physical while aspiring for the spiritual. And we were told we are earth and from the earth, and would be in service to the earth and return to the earth, 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 and watch over her and tend to her and all that stuff. And we emerged masculine and feminine in a single body, like a plant, to seed improved connectedness that was missing in the earlier humans between men and women. And we lived from then on amidst trees that spoke to us, symbolic of the blossoming forth of a whole new kinship between human and plant. Because that's why the Torah uses the word siach hasodeh. And for trees of the field, siach means conversation. Like the Talmud says, Elu masichin, eluim eluvim kol habriot. The trees, they converse, they communicate one with the other and with all of creations, all other creatures. And so we were born into a new human being who had a relationship with the earth. Plants, that's like it says in another place in the Talmud, that God destroyed worlds and created them, destroyed them and created them. And it's based on that teaching that the ancient mystics went into this many cycles. There were 7 cycles of previous humanity. Which cycle we are in, we don't know. Most think we are in the last one, but you don't know. There are 7 cycles of 7,000 years altogether. And the last one didn't work out, didn't have a relationship with the earth. There was no human to work the earth, to tend it, to love it, to inspire it, to kindle its passions. And now a new one was born, we. And we had a better relationship with it. So plants are more than just things that grow and smell nice and have nice colors, and they climb and and things that we eat with our Thousand Island dressing. They are kin. Eating your family, what's the matter with you? And therefore they facilitate our cultivation as we facilitate theirs. And in shamanic rituals, plants are either used by sprinkling water or oils with them, or directing their aroma through the smoke that rises from them. We'll talk about that at some point, how that works, because there's many midrashim about the use of the smoke of plants. In some rituals, you would use it through a shofar, through a ram's horn. And so the smoke would go through the larger opening of the shofar and come through the narrow space, and that's where you would aim it at the person that you're doing the healing with. That's in Midrash Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer speaks about that. Now, to really understand herbs, plants, and their powers and their spirits and things like that, we have to go again back to that great old, most mystical of all texts, Sefer Bereshit. Yomer Elohim, and Elohim said, Tatshe. There it is. There's the mystery of plant. Tatshe haaretz. The earth should create a passageway. I know the English translation is, oh, earth, bring forth grasses. Tatshe does not mean bring forth. Tatshe means create a passageway. Tadashe, create a passageway. Create a passageway for the emergence of herb. Tatshe haaretz deshe, create a passageway for the emergence of grass, of herb. Esev mazria, grass yielding seed, and tree of fruit, making fruit and all that stuff, according to its own species, its own seed and all that. You know the story, you saw the movie, and it happened exactly that way. So tatshe is very important. The wording is very important when you look into the real meaning behind the Hebrew, instead of looking at those silly English translations that just mimic each other. You know, the most of the English translations, I'm afraid to say, sound more like medieval Europe than ancient Israel. I mean, it's really unbelievable. Tatshe is not bring forth. Tatshe, passageway, doorway. In other words, the earth is being rendered permeable to allow for what lies dormant within her to emerge into the open air. And there's a similar word that follows, deshe, tatshe deshe. Deshe means herb. as herbs are plant.
But what kind of plant?
See, there's aseth. Aseth means grass, but deshe means herb. And what is an herb? An herb is a plant life that is most concentrated within the dynamic of earth opening herself up to gift, to heal, to nurture. You know? They have more of the concentration of the dynamic of earth opening herself up to gift, to heal, to nurture. So herb is then the child of earth's passageway. Deshe, tache, passageway. They are passageway plants. They contain all of what the earth is passing through. And it's interesting that the vegetation emerges before there was a sun and moon in the creation story. Day, or so-called day 3, right? The sun and the moon come in day 4. And day 3 is when God says, Tache haaretz deshe. Huh? Very interesting. Nobody notices this except you. Yes, the gentleman on the left.
Which left? No, so is the power of the herb / plant then the power is coming from the earth itself? Is that the essence? And are there different parts of the earth, meaning that's how different herbs get translated? Like, how does that work?
Oh yeah, there are 7 different parts of the earth. Yeah. And it works very differently. And if you take the psychedelic, you can go into those places. There are 7 realms to the earth. Kiyipol Tzadik Sheva Vakum. Solomon wrote way back in between visiting his 1,000 wives. He had time to write a little proverb, a couple of Ecclesiastes, and he wrote, Ki Sheva Yipol Tzadik Vakum. 7 times shall the righteous drop and rise up again. And he's talking about, the Zohar says, the 7 realms of the earth. There's Tevel, there's Eretz, there's Adamah, there's Tzia, there's Arka. They all have different names, and different entities live in different ones of them. And we'll go into that too if you want a little later, you know. It's a very big thing to go into, the 7 realms of the earth. It has to do with the 7 veils of the dance of Shalomit too. So it's a lot of big thing. It's so full. 7 colors of the rainbow. You see, because when we see a rainbow, I'll just give you a little taste. When you see a rainbow, right? What do you see? You see an arch. And you figure that's it. An arch with 7 colors. But the Zohar tells us arch, schmarch. It's a full cycle. 7 above, 7 below. 7 heavens, 7 earth, 7 earths, 7 realms of the earth, 7 realms of the beyond the earth, of above the earth. See? So you follow that rainbow, you go deep into the earth, you come to the 7 different realms, each realm corresponding to each of the colors of the rainbow, has particular doorways through which you pass by surrendering one of 7 attributes. Your power, your sense of your life, your sense of peace, your sense of I don't remember them all by heart. What's the matter with you people? You know, but I can get that for you. But in each of them, you know, you have to release, you have to unveil, you have to do the dance of Shalomit, for example. I don't know if you're familiar with the dance of Salome. Salome, the great Queen Salome, one of our queens, back in the 2nd century BC EFG. And so she was known to do the dance of the 7 veils, which was a mystical dance. So she would remove 7 veils until she came to the mystery. What the mystery was, nobody told us. They don't want to tell us nothing. What can I do? It's not my fault. But in unveiling different aspects of ourselves, we are given permission in that journey in the 7 realms to enter one realm after the other. So at the doorway, there are these spirit keepers that say, okay, give me your power. Give me your peace. Give me your sense of joy. Give me your sense of life, of living, and so on and so forth. And until you become completely naked, you have nothing, and you are nothing. It's at that point that you emerge on the other side with all of it. But how do you emerge with all of it? You emerge with all of it with a sense of awareness of them, because you have had to, in each realm, at each portal, to really dig deep inside to find it. I mean, how often do we do that homework and look inside of ourselves to see what that is and what that means? So in the human being comes out of the earth, according to the Zohar, in Hashmatat Zohar, through the evolutionary gifts of the 7 realms of the underworld. In other words, all the other creatures in Bereshit, when you look in there, are described as having been created directly from the earth. Right? God says to the earth, bring forth. So they are from the earth. But first, the human is described as being fashioned from the soil of the earth, and therefore we're called Adam. So it's like we're of earth. We're not just from the earth, like something the earth gave. And the seven realms of the underworld live within us, and we live within it, and we go visit them in this journey. Where through these 7 stratums, is that a good way to say it? It's like an integral concept and practice within the Kabbalah, within Jewish shamanic Kabbalah, where we speak to the earth, like it says in the book of Job, chapter 12, and we ask permission, and we go deeper in and deeper in and deeper in, so we go into the eretz, for example, which is the red corresponding to the color red of the rainbow, the eretz, and its keeper is makom. That's the name of the keeper, and it wants your wisdom. Give me your wisdom. Well, that means that you have to look deep inside to find, what is my wisdom? What is the uniqueness of my particular wisdom that no one else has, or that is really unique to me, to who I am, And there's no room in Eretz. Eretz means compressed. There's no room there in that realm. It's a very compressed realm. There's no room for anything other than what is. There's no one but me. I am all there is. See? Therefore, I have no space for anybody else in Eretz. No one is invited. This is my world. Because of me alone was the entire universe created. That's the first. It corresponds in turn to the red in the top of the rainbow on the surface, which has to do with the very beginning of creation, the very top stratum of creation, which is Genesis, which is only God, nobody else. See, so each one has a whole different thing. Like, for example, after you've managed to make it through that very compressed place of self and your self-wisdom, you move into the orange part, which is phase 2, which is the Hazmanah, which is about invitation. It's the realm of Adamah, of clay. It has a keeper named Shamriel. That's its guardian. He wants your peace. What is your peace? What in your world and your life feels peaceful to you, And that's the underworld of Adamah, because Adamah means clay. And clay means that you're able to shape and form and do things. You're not compressed. You're not just you. You are also possibility of more than yourself, of other. See, and so there's a slow, gradual 7 phases of emergence that you go through each portal. Everything you release of yourself requires you to look at that part of yourself, so that when you emerge naked out of the earth, you come with a completely fresh and renewed, and most of the time, the first time you've ever known yourself in those 7 worlds, and then the third one is the yellow color. That's the keeper of the yellow. Is Satitya. That's in the realm of Arka. Arka is about depth, very deep. What is your love? That's where love is all about. The essence of love lies deep within us. Arka. Then you go to the realm of Gaia after that, right? Gam Kielich Begayet Salmovet, the Gaia, that's the deep, deep, deep. That's the dare, that's the place where where the sorcerer gets his or her powers from. That's like the deep, deep, deep center of the underworld. It's filled with mystery, wisdom, and wizardry and stuff like that. And then you go from there to the next one, which is blue, and that's the realm of Nashia, and that's the place where you forget, where everything is forgotten, right? What does Joseph say when he names his son Menashe? When the word Nashia, he says, "For God has Kinishani Elohim, God has caused me to forget all my troubles that I went through." See, Nashia, a place of forgetting. It has a keeper too, called Tat. Tat, tough. You gotta look inside yourself and find your gifts of potential, of possibility. And the more you go into that, the more you find out that you don't know where they are. You forget. Here we realize that much of what is holding us back from moving all the way through life is the disconnect. We're a series of dotted lines. We're so busy moving on to the next that we have lost track of what was and what that gave us. And then you move into the indigo, the color indigo, which has a keeper there, Satit it's called. That's about aliveness. What is your aliveness? That's the 6th underworld. Then you go into the 7th underworld, which is the violet, which is the realm of fusion, the Tevel. That's the fusion world. Its keeper is called Agrepi. And its password, well, you have to look for your bounty. What about you feels bountiful? No matter whether you have money in the bank or not, what is bountiful in your life? What are you blessed with? What is your bounty? Give it up. Agrepi says, give it to me. Because that's what Tevel is about. Tevel is that part of earth that is bountiful, that has fruit, that has nourishment, that has scenery, that has something, all the things that nourish a human being and make us feel good inside and make us develop and evolve. And that's the final climactic underworld that brings us to the surface, the finish line. And you come out, and your relationship with life is now full and refreshed. So yeah, there's a lot to learn about those 7 underworlds and its keepers and what the character and nature of those keepers are, and so on and so forth. Because there's a more to this world than meets the eye, and you don't have to take a psychedelic thing to learn it. It's right before our eyes. We just have to open it. But what you said is very, very right on. The plant was created before that which it needs to grow, before the sun and the moon, to show us that its power, correct, is from deep within, from those 7 underworlds. Every plant contains those 7 characteristics, the aliveness, the power, all that stuff that we talked about, the peace, bountifulness, Yeah, guy in the back there.
That was on the left.
And that's the other guy.
Ah.
Yeah.
There's all these meditations, going around today. We're rooting, right? Sensing our roots from our feet going into the earth. Would you say that it would be more effective if we understood depth of that, or the different colors that you would use? Like, how would you
Yes,
play around with that based on these 7 worlds?
absolutely. Because then you would root yourself in the Tevel, which is the surface, which is the knowable, the seeable, that which you see and are inspired by just by being here on the surface of the earth. Yishbot Tevel B'Tzedek, and the Yoshve Tevel, the settlers of the Tevel. That's the top level. And then you would slowly sink yourself in deeper and deeper and deeper into the Gaia place. And then beyond and beyond and come out the other side. But then you might find yourself in China. I don't know if it's a good place to go right now. But yeah, you go deep in them, and that's a good way to do it. Yeah. Sink yourself. With every breath, you move yourself deeper and deeper. The breath in and out are the ways in which we are traveling. We are journeying. Just like those things on the railroad, where you go this and that to bring the coal to the mine, out of the mine, But it is important also to know what that means, that the plants came before the sun and the moon, which are the things that it needs to be drawn and to get its color and everything else. Before there was a sun or a moon to conjure it, the plant came out. They came to the scene on the 3rd cycle, and the sun and moon the 4th. So since sun is our guidance in terms of time, right? That's how we determine time. So the creation of plant prior to sun, on another level, is our aboriginal way of explaining why plant is the only being of the planet which incorporates within its life cycle the drama of the unfolding of time. The unfolding of time is in the plant. It is constantly shape-shifting, changing, branching, twigging, whether in growth or leafing or fruiting, or whether in texture or color, right? Plant is always busy sprouting, which is why we call it someach, sprouting being. So the zebra, for example, remains striped. It remains zebra, the same zebra as it moves through time and ages, as do you and me. We don't grow 3 or 4 more legs or fingers or nostrils, right? Nothing does. Everything journeys along the river of time within the framework or template with which it began, except for plant. Plant never stays the same. It not only shifts in form, texture, color, fragrance with the dance of time, it also provides all other beings on the planet with markers of dramatic shifts in time, such as in the changing of seasons. It flowers, it branches, it twigs, it bends, it curves, it straightens, right? So plant is a being which preceded time itself, and thus, in a way, is its keeper, right? Oh, it's spring. The sun is going, hey, what about me? Sun, Shman, it's spring. I can see the flowers coming. Oh, it's autumn. The leaves are falling. See? Oh, it's summer. It's blossoming. See? So who are we telling time by? So we're telling hours, minutes, and all that stuff for our business and things by the sun and the moon. But the plant is the big clock, is the real determinant for us. And that's why in the Torah, in the Teire, steht dort in the Teire was? The Torah determines time, ritual time, by the seasons of the vegetation, right? Shalosh pamim bashana yeroeh kol zochucha et panei Adonai, right? 3 times a year, come to the sacred altar, come to the mountain, come to see the great masterfulness and magnificence of creation. Pesach, spring, when things are coming out, because the Torah says Pesach can only happen on Chodesh Aviv, the moon of spring, it says. That's why we have a leap year, a leap month every now and then, because if we didn't, we'd end up with Passover in winter. So every now and then, because if we go by the lunatic calendar, every now and then we have to add another month to make sure that Passover is celebrated not by the sun, but by the flowers, by the barley offering, by the emergence of spring.
Can I just add something there? I don't know. Can you hear me? Yes. Can I just add something there?
Of course you can add. You can subtract.
Hello, it's nice to be part of this. I'm in Sydney, Australia, which is a little far away. But so I'm hearing what you're saying, and then I'm thinking about what I'm making sense of it. I'm thinking about what's revealed and what's hidden. And so I'm not exactly arguing with you, but I'm doing that Chavruta thing and saying, but on the other hand, the plants are actually the revealed expression of the season, but the seasons are actually the hidden clock of the seasons is the sun and our distance from the sun.
Correct. That's true. Very good point. But and we human beings, we are affected by, and we react to what it is that we can touch and see and smell. See? So just like a scientist will tell you, I'll meet you at sundown. Now, does that mean that the scientist believes that the sun goes down? No. It means the scientist is a human being and therefore speaking in that language. And the Torah, lo dibra Torah ela b'lashon bnei adam, the Torah is speaking to us and teaching us in the language of the tangible, of what we feel, how we experience. So we look out the window and we say, okay, it's springtime now. The farmer looks out and says, things are growing because it's spring. See, even though, of course, he knows from school that it has to do with the seasonal effects of the celestial beings as well.
But so then I'm saying, I mean, my pursuit is relationship with the ineffable. I know the plants, and I think I love what you say that the newspaper headline about the seasons comes from the plants. But that's what's revealed but my pursuit is not of the revealed. I mean, I want to understand the revealed, but I'm more interested. I mean, the revealed is just how we muck around in the world. It's not what I'm pursuing to know the revealed more. I'm pursuing to know the hidden and the less known, those deeper realms, those hidden parts of the rainbow that go deep are what I'm interested in.
I totally get it. Yeah. And yes, we all want to do that. We all want to know that, and we will eventually get to know all that's hidden by way of all that is revealed, because all that is revealed is a camouflage of all that is hidden. I cannot know the hidden without first encountering the revealed.
But if I stay interested in the plants, I'm never going to notice that the sun and the distance between the sun and the earth doing their thing. It's a real deal. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a real deal. It's a great dance, a cosmic choreography. That's
yeah.
right. So you stay with the plant, and you're right. When you stay too long with something, you get nowhere. So no one's asking us to stay. What the teachings are asking us to do is to move, is to look at this plant. You see a plant. Now Akiva says, don't call it plant. You see a bird, do not call it bird, because then you are stuck just staying with the revealed. You must remove yourself from the definitions with which we are accustomed, with which we are reared, and begin to see the plant without the defining. And the less of defining we do, the more we unveil. You see, I look at a tree. Oh, it's a nice tree. Well, I have to move beyond that and say, no, it's not a tree. It is nothing that I know. It is something older and beyond me. And I can only know it if I engage it in a relationship that will take me beyond my definitions, my built-in dictionary of what it is. The more I remove myself from how I see it and how I define it, the more it will reveal itself as what it is beyond the levush, as we say in the language in the Hebrew, the garment that it now has. The garment is there to attract my attention, the color, the fragrance, like a bee. It attracts my attention. But now that I'm there, what do? Do I just stay with it where it is? Or do I allow it to take me inside its mystery? Just like Solomon's great book, his love story, Song of Songs, which is a narrative of two lovers who are pining for one another, yet at the same time eluding one another. The closer they get to one another, the farther they become. Because the closer you get to something, the closer you are to its mystery, which is farther away. And so you have to keep the journey. Life is a journey. Accessing the mystery is a journey. There are many stages to it, many phases. We need to lose our definition. That's right. So when Akiva took the three other rabbis into the orchard, into that shamanic journey called Pardes, the first thing he told them was, don't call anything for what it seems, because nothing is what it seems. It is far more, far more. And the more you unveil of it, megale tefach, nechaset tefach. The more you unveil, the more you cover up, the more there is to unveil, like an onion. Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Good point. Very important point, actually. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yep. We are approaching 8 o'clock. So, I mean, my time. What time is it in Australia? You're a day ahead of us.
Approaching 1 o'clock tomorrow, yes.
Yeah, so you're tomorrow already, see?
Yeah.
That's why we Jews, we always start the day the night before. Just in case we live in Australia, we can be a day before.
You can be on time.
That's right. You have to sing to the plants. Touches desce masria, masria se almino. Touche desce e se masria, masria se almino. Ay, 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 ay. We live in a very magical universe, but we need to see it with our inner eye. Till next time, may the Schwartz be with you.
Thank you, Gershon.
Thank you all. You all
Thank
take
you.
We're recording also, so if people want the recording, I could send it to you.
Yeah, I saw the movie already. Now I
I
gotta read.
missed the beginning, so that'd be good.
Now I gotta read the book.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.